Hello guys, and welcome to another very late Ice and Fire mod showcase, where today we're showing off the last two updates, starting with the more recent one because it's the easier to show off and doesn't require me flying for 2 hours. So in the last update, Ice and Fire has added two brand new animals that we are going to be looking at today, and we're also going to be looking at the brand new Myrmex. So let's start with the simplest of the animals, the impossible to say Amphithyr, which is why I've just written Amphithyr here, or the winged serpent. Now, taming the animal is fairly simple. It's basically the horse from vanilla, but far harder. Now, every time you see the Amphithyr, right, which looks incredible by the way, turn around and nip at me, right? That's going to give you damage if you're in survival. Until the animal is tamed. Let's just... Now as you can see, it hasn't bitten us for a while here. But it's flying on nonetheless. And it's not taming. So yeah, basically we just sit here and wait for it to tame. Now, Amphitheres are cool for several reasons. So they are the new fastest flying animal, far faster than hippogriffs or dragons. But they control like an elytra rather than a classic flying animal. And you see those bubbles? Oh. Now occasionally they might do that. Now, what we're going to do is we shoot at the animal. Actually, I'm going to get rid of these. Don't want to show those off yet. And if we do any damage to it, the animal will drop to the floor. Now we've got an issue in that it's underwater, so it's probably drowning, so we better get on it. Yep, no, we just broke the game, guys. Okay, there's going to be an attempt to... Oh, I think it's tamed. No, it's dead. Whether it's tamed or not, it's dead. Okay, so let's try that again, and hopefully we won't have that issue this time. So the aim is simple. You get it when it's on the floor, and you do this. And I am actually going to go in survival. So you can see it is doing damage each time. Now I'm wearing some of the new armor because it looks amazing in screenshots. And as you can see, it's pretty damn good because we are taking absolutely no damage from this guy. But he is biting us pretty hard. And there we go. He is in fact tamed. Now, if you see here, you can see he will move forward, sort of slide forward. Or we can fly, which is, yeah, quite difficult to do. So you basically, it follows where you're looking. So if I look up, I'll go up. If I look down, I'll go down. There's nothing more complicated. Another great thing about the Amphithyr is it doesn't need a saddle, which is a huge advantage if you don't have any sort of craftable saddle. Now you can shift click on it, and it will sit, it will follow, or it will wander. Now, I'm going to set it to sit. There we go. As you can see, we're in a very nice biome with Ice and Fire villagers and Ice and Fire skeleton and a goddamn polar bear. So, that's the Amphithyr. Now, you can breed them with cookies, and you can heal them with cocoa beans, but I'm not going to do that basically, because we've got a lot of animal to cover. So the amphiphere you can also kill. It will drop amphiphere feathers. What do you get from amphiphere feathers, you might say? I'm a creative mode genius. You get the ability to craft amphiphere arrows. Now, if we head over to one of those polar bears from earlier, and we go on to game mode 0 again, we can shoot him in the face. Okay. As you can tell, I'm a really professional YouTuber. Okay, I don't think you can use them with dragon bone bows then. Yeah, as you can see, bear goes flying backwards. If we just wait for it to come a bit closer. So what the amphiphere arrow does is it knocks mobs back quite far, as we saw with that polar bear. Now that's it for the amphiphere. It's not an especially complex animal, there's not an absolute ton to it. It's a bit like the hippogriff, really, I'd say, or the stymphalian bird, in that, yeah, it's cool, there's a little bit of content around it, but it's not a ton. Next is the far more ambitious sea serpent. So the sea serpent's got a lot more, as you can tell. Now what I'm wearing here is the Tide Guardian armor that you can see here. I'm wearing the bronze scales from a bronze sea serpent. Now, we will have a look at what the armor does in a minute, but they also allow you to craft their own arrows. So if we have a look again, these ones, yeah, they shoot straight in the water. So again, we'll see how useful they are, because we have a lot of sea serpents to deal with. So you also need their claws, as you can see. These, they tooth, sorry, not claws. Yeah, fangs. They are used in the crafting of the arrow. I believe it's sort of, you have fang, stick, scale. But anyway, we're gonna go check out the sea serpent. Now they come in different colours, like the amphiphere, and this guy's doing a brilliant show of how buggy they are. There has been a patch to fix a lot of this since it came out, but I'm just playing. I'm not playing that because it came out like. Yeah. Anyway, so now the sea serpent is proper tough, so I'm actually going to get food for this because I do want to fight it, or at least fight for a little bit, because it's going to show off the armor and the bow very well. So if we just go again and we shoot him in the back. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now that that's not what's meant to happen. Now, this guy has a whole range of attacks, like biting, as you saw there. Now, we're going to shoot him from below the water. As you can see, absolute no effect on the arrow. You'll also see we have strength 4. Now, this is because we are wet, so it's raining or we're in the water, and as you can see, we were able to absolutely trash him because of that strength 4. We also have water breathing forever. But the strength 4 is because we're wearing 4 pieces of gear, so each piece of gear gives us 1 level of strength. Oh god, there's another one. Yeah, that's another of his attacks. He does bubble stream. You saw the body slam that he did when he leapt into the air. What are you? Frost lily, alright. So he's got 4 attacks. He's not got a ton of health, but as you saw, he did a lot of damage considering we are wearing such good gear. Also worth noting, we were using the Dragonbone sword, which is the single highest damage sword that you can get with Ice and Fire. And we had strength 4, and we got a couple of arrows in him. So he's not that weak, but he's not exceptionally tough. So the Myrmex are actually going to travel to another world to look at, but I want to look at some of the stuff you can do with Mermex items here. So, the Mermexes are giant insects, like the Siliphids in World of Warcraft, or any of the other variants in various settings. So we've got chitin from the jungle and the desert, because there are two types of Mermex. So all this stuff is from the jungle. We've got sticky resin, normal resin, hardened, and resin glass. We've got the same for the desert, and we've got their armor and equipment, because there is a lot of stuff you can get here. So you can get the staff, which we'll have to look a bit more at when we actually go there. You get stingers, swords, and you can make tools with them. You'll notice all the tools do more damage against non-arthropods and deathworms. So non-arthropods is anything that isn't a spider or Mermex, which are currently all the arthropods in the game. I think deathworms might be technically as well, but it does extra damage against deathworms. And you can see here we've actually got a Mermex stinger, chitin sword, and all that. These are all the blocks you can get, and they are what will signify a Mermex area. So we're going to go have a look at those in just a second. So let's in fact get straight to it. That's the right... Professional, guys, professional. There we go. I'm so good at this YouTube thing. So, now, full disclaimer, you have no idea. This took me a good 20 minutes of flying to find. I spawned a custom world, so it was only desert, which is one of the two biomes that these guys spawn in, desert and jungle. And I flew past, must be 2 villages, 6 or so dragons, 20-ish hippogriffs, and God knows how many deathworms to get here. But I did, and this is a Mermex hive. Now, as you can see, we actually have Mermex soldiers out here, and the workers. So the Mermex soldiers are protecting their workers. As you can tell, they're pretty clearly distinct, and we have a dragon over there, because one of the updates did focus on a dragon rework. So you can see the new animations that they're doing, which look awesome. Got a new meteorite attack, which does that. I'm sure that village will be fine. We'll have a look at how well that village is doing later, and it will show you how much more powerful dragons have become, because they weren't big enough already. So not only do we have the soldiers and the workers, it's worth noting the workers will also take all these things in. But if we just head down quick, we have several other mobs as well. We also get these bioluminescence, so if we set this time to night, you'd see these would light up. Now, these are procedurally generated things, so we've got different chambers. So we've got a food chamber here, we've got a young chamber, so we've got some royals and some workers, and these are all larvae, basically, pupae, and we've got 2 of these young chambers right next to a food chamber. And we've got a queen here. This is the Mermex queen. So if you kill them, the colony's dead. Got cocoons. And if we head through here, we have a treasure room. And these are the reasons you're going to want to come in here. Because, yeah, we've got some cobwebs. That's a bit disappointing. But we've got manuscripts and gold and everything here I got from just lying around in this room. There are also piles of silver and gold, like a troll hoard, and this is probably a far easier way of getting it, to be honest. Especially considering you can just pay them off. So using the using the bone block to pretty good effect here, but there is far more to the Mermexes. It's not just a thing you can raid. Unfortunately, they don't grow like an ant colony, which would be absolutely awesome. But if we find a Mermex worker, say this one inside the soldier, we can actually throw chitin at it. I believe it's chitin. Sorry, resin. Resin, not chitin. I'm pretty sure it's resin. We're meant to throw it. I might check in a second and turn out to be horribly, horribly wrong. But basically what we do is we just sort of drop it at a worker. And there you go. So you raised your reputation with this Myrmex colony. What that means is, well, not much, because the dragon's going to kill them all. But what it would usually mean is, basically, if we raise it to 100, these guys will act friendly. If we raise, because they start off neutral and they will eventually act friendly. Oh god, Mr. Dragon. And eventually, when we get 100, we gain a Desert Myrmex staff, because, well, they're Desert Myrmex. And what we can do is we just... Oh god. Let me... So this is professional, I know, but... yeah. So if we just look at the in-game description of this... Myrmex. So... you can also see in here there aren't any sentinels. Sentinels are probably the coolest because they're basically giant scorpions. But... so, as you can see... so basically you can get the resin chunks because they're just dropped around the world. Oh, yes, I do remember. Okay, so what we do is we declare this colony a player colony. So we walk up to any ant in this colony, only go straight for the queen, and we right click her. And this sets this to the colony. Now, and it shows me all the rooms, and I can disable the queen's reproduction. It's pretty cool. It's not as impressive as I would have liked it personally. So as you can see, so 25 Myrmex will become neutral. At 50 they will trade with you, and at 75 you are allowed to use staffs. Staffs? Who cares? And what you do, I've forgotten, I knew there's a way to do this. You just do this and you can create a new room. Now, I've noted the Myrmexes are horrendously buggy. Oh, look, a little egg. So the queen does actually reproduce, which is why you should probably kill the queen if you ever decide to basically take out one of these colonies. Because the queen, as you can see, has in fact laid an egg. Now that we can't middle click on it or select it or anything, but there is an egg. And as you can see, these royals are growing up. And there is a sentinel, which is super duper cool. Now, if you want to see how good these guys are, they're pretty cool. So the sentinels, if we just try out the sentinels, right? Now, every Myrmex item can be achieved by raiding a colony or through peaceful trade. So, stuff like the stinger that you're going to want, because it adds poison. That's the advantage to the stinger sword, is that it gives poison for 10 seconds. Now, if we were just to spawn a troll in, we'd have an issue because he'd freeze to death. Sorry, bake. Why did I say who even knows? Anyway, so if I just set time to night. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, the dragon does a lot of damage. So, yeah, the dragon's been changed up slightly. He's done all of this in the like 5 minutes, 10 minutes we've been here. So if I spawn a troll and a Myrmex sentinel, they don't seem very interested in killing each other. Let me spawn a death worm, because I know a death worm and a Myrmex will definitely fight each other. Could have sworn Myrmexes were meant to fight death worms. Unfortunately, the troll just absolutely wrecked him, so... Yeah, the Sentinels are pretty good. Okay, let's try out fighting the Sentinels. No? Okay. Daytime is coming. And... yeah. So this was disappointing. As you can see, this Sentinel seems to be fairly interested in trying to kill the death worms. He's just not acting on it. So unfortunately the mod is... the update is fairly buggy. Pun intended. Even though I think this was 2 updates ago. And it's pretty poorly optimized compared to the others. If I were to just do that, I boosted it up to find the damned Myrmexes. You can see it's less of an optimization issue. But you'll also note this is really cool. So desert ones will camouflage into the desert, jungle ones will camouflage into the jungle. So desert ones look like sand, and you can see from a distance it's not actually easy to tell. The only reason I can tell is because, you know, it's just sitting there in the middle of a flat plane. If I were to do something like... oh, well, it's gotten up again, but... oh, look! There you go, there you go. The Sentinels are doing things. If I was to... let's spawn a dragon. Because dragons want to kill everything, so... and I got a tiny one. And I get another tiny one. And I get another tiny one. Spawn a damned big one! There we go. Now they should try and kill everything. Or suddenly get really bad. For God's sake, you can't win, can you? Okay, let's spawn a pig, because I know they will want to kill... something will want to kill that. No, no one interested. Okay, well, that was the disappointing... oh! Well, we can all officially say they are absolutely no match for ice dragons. But, still, you can see they are actually hitting him. Just not doing much. Look at that animation. That is so cool. So we haven't seen their tail attack yet, but they are giving him a good smacking, and you can see he has been poisoned. Even if the game is really not meant to cope with this. We're going to see, can they get one more attack in? Look at that, there was a tail. So that's the one that poisoned him. And there we go, chewing on and on. Another smack. But they are of course all struggling because they're frozen. But the ice dragon is getting smacked around pretty hard. And I reckon these guys, given time, would definitely kill him. Which is fairly impressive. Now, yeah, we got enough time. So the other thing I wanted to talk about at the end of this video, as sort of a shameless self-promotion, because that's kind of it for the update. But I am planning to do at some point an Ice and Fire survival series. So do let me know down in the comments, and if you do want to see that, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. What's your favourite of the 3 new mobs? Do you like the ridiculous Myrmexes, the pretty cool amphitheres, or the underwater sea serpents? You are seriously just the worst. With that, goodbye!